Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cafe Enchante, and we are just continuing the main route, and I think we're in chapter 5 now? God, I can't remember, but anyway. We're just continuing, so yeah, okay. Don't worry so much, Mom. It's okay. I'm doing all right here. I feel like this is worth much more than the work I was doing before, and Grandpa's friends are helping me out. And the customers that come here are good people? Huh? Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, I'll come by when things settle down. I'm working now, so I'll call you later, Phew. Sorry for the wait. It was just after 5 in the afternoon. Around this time, when the sun-setting rays came through the cafe, all the regulars are about doing their own thing. I drooped my head, with Canis and Mr. Rindo sitting at the counter, and get back to work. No, it's no problem. You were talking to your family, right? How are you going to introduce him to your mom? It's going to be so weird. Anyway, it's also going to be hard when you're dating, at least when you're dating Kaoru, right? It's like, well, okay, he's a human, but he's twice my age, and he's probably my parents' age. That's going to... Anyway, look. There's... This right here is a problem. Everyone else at least can pretend to be human. It at least looks relatively human-esque, I guess, so. Yeah, it's been about 4 months now since leaving home. It's just a call to check if I'm doing okay over here. An only child living by herself. I'm sure your parents would be worried if they knew about the non-humans, right? Well, for now I just avoid it. But I feel I'll need to tell them the truth at some point. I'm sure my mom and dad would make a fuss. I think it's okay to leave it for now. Well, even if you consider this a normal cafe job, and there are guys living here renting rooms, you'd want to hide that part too. Yeah. Old enough to, do what I want, buddy. Stop being my dad, it's being weird. Why is that? I do not believe we ever cause much of an issue when we spend the night here at Enchante. The armor-clad knight disputes the point, shaking the head he didn't have side to side. Looking away from where I thought his face would be, I mutter quietly, but the thing is that's interesting. They point out he does have a face. You never see it, but he does have one. So, like, they could theoretically put it into a fan disc and be like, and now he has a head again. Look, you can see his face, because he has one. You just can't see it or feel it. I'm sure no one's really conscious about it, but I am a girl. His flames jumping, I'm aware of it. And Canis, you all are men. And that means? That means, it'd be easy for my folks to misunderstand. So confused. So cute. Mr. Rindo, stop laughing and help me. I think it's very Canis of him to not really understand. In any case, we end our conversation and I take their orders. Okay, Canis, you want a fruit smoothie and Mr. Rindo an Americano. American, short for American coffee. Well, Americano is what we actually said, but made by running plenty of hot water through lightly roasted beans, giving it a refreshing taste. The Americano might take a bit more time. Is that okay? Of course. It's not like there are any other customers right now anyway. Thank you very much. Oh, that's right. Speaking of customers, suddenly coming to mind, I began to speak while heating some water. This happened yesterday, but... A customer aside from us came in. Right. I was like, oh no, and panicked. The two men were both out yesterday, so it was a good opportunity to talk about it. I tell them of the boy that suddenly just came into the store, and the two looked at each other in bewilderment. That's quite a strange thing to happen, although it is not impossible considering the properties of Enchante's barrier. Also, according to Miser's judgment, the boy seemed like he was a non-human. Oh, well now one surprise after another, I see. Right, though I don't know if it was by his power, but for a moment yesterday the piping and everything had frozen over. If you just looked at him, he seemed like a normal boy. That made me even more surprised. After sharing the information I had, Mr. Rindo mutters behind the steam from his Americano. With all that said, though, if the only time he's come by was yesterday, isn't it all just a simple coincidence? There have been plenty of coincidences like that over the years I've been coming here, or so I've heard. Right, it is not like he'd come to attack the cafe like the GPM has. I'm sure we can pay him no mind. Hey, come on. I said I was sorry. It's true. Candace is right. It's not like we have to get into a panic just because someone new came into the cafe. And I mean, a cafe that panics over customers coming in already seems problematic. In fact, if another non-human regular starts coming to Enchante, that means I'll have even more work to do. Oh man. Though it may be a good thing for Enchante, you shouldn't complain and get to work. I am working hard though, okay? As a matter of fact, my department's been going crazy over Medea right now. What about Medea? Wait, was there some kind of problem because we all went to Medea? I nervously ask my question, but Mr. Rindo laughs and waves his hand, dismissing my concerns. No, it's nothing like people being in panic or screaming about how the world's ending. Oh, well, if it's anyone's fault, it is yours truly. Depending on who you ask, information on the fairy world Medea inside the GPM is scarce. It's considered an unusual world. Normally, written reports or testimonies by Canis would have been enough. I'm talking about the fairy videos I took, and sort of thinking they'd be good samples. I took a few fallen leaves and flowers. The R&D team is just eating it up. They want to hear everything and have been hounding me 24/7 to regale them. Huh. It seemed like Mr. Rindo hadn't shown up here much after coming back from Medea. I suppose that's what's been going on. You see, it must have been something considering the work the GPM does. I might even have to ask the resident of that world, Canis, to come in for questioning by them. I decline. You basically said so yourself earlier, that you caused all this yourself. Also, I wouldn't be able to face Titania and the others if the GPM travels there so frequently, like they do in Bestia. There was one word that hit me. Bestia? You mean Ignis's homeworld, right? What sort of connection does his world and Bestia have? Canis nods deeply, as if acknowledging my question. This is just what I heard from Ignis, but I hear the GPM has somehow gotten able to travel to Bestia directly. It seems that Ignis has seen humans traveling through Bestia numerous times. Somehow able to travel. Wait, does the GPM also have a gate that goes to alternate worlds like ours? Canis and I look toward Mr. Rindo. Close, though essentially correct. What we have down at headquarters isn't a gate. He pours some milk into his Americano and puts up 2 fingers. I think this was explained before, but there are 2 ways to travel to alternate worlds. Right. You're talking about gates and wormholes. They have a wormhole? That's dangerous. I recall the conversation we had about homeworlds just before going to Medea. Just like the one in Enchante, there are several gates that connect to alternate worlds. And there are wormholes, distortions in space, that appear haphazardly. You can only travel in one direction through them, and they're incredibly unstable. If you happen to fall into one, it'd be nothing but unfortunate. That's how it was explained to me. They're using a stargate. It creates a wormhole. It's like a gate, but a wormhole. It's a wormhole gate. So then, the GPM headquarters has a wormhole? Right. Normally a wormhole would close after, at the longest, a few days. I can't imagine what he was thinking. Our crazy genius found out how to stabilize them, opening and closing them at will. And that's how we've become able to maintain a direct path to Bestia. We've been making great strides in research thanks to that. Oh, wow. I didn't know that was possible. It seems the GPM is not just a government institution just by name. These people seem quite capable. It makes you wonder. And talented people can be found anywhere, can't they? Regardless of their personality. A crazy genius. I wonder what kind of person they are to be called something like that. Thank you. And now then, time for this old man to get back to the hellhole he calls work. Like, no, it's not a shoulder holster because he's so got like a gun belt on right there. But like whatever the fuck leathery strappy things he's got going on there on top of that vest is just, that adds to the hotness is all I'm saying. A man in a vest is hot, and then you add the leather harness kind of thing going on. Which, again, you would think would be like, well, is that like a fancy-ass shoulder holster? But you've got a hip belt. How many guns do you need? You know, and I'm not even asking questions. It's hot. I don't care. Good luck. Do not push yourself too hard. As you say, humans are frail. Now that's weird. I'm glad you're worried, but I can't help but feel like that's a jab at my age. You're imagining things. I take his payment, and Mr. Rindo begins to put on his suit. Oh, that's right, Spacey. Going back to what we were talking about. That non-human boy who came here. From what I've heard so far, it seems like he doesn't intend to do any harm. But just in case, I'll look through the GPM's database. Did he have any memorable features? And can you tell me anything you remember? His face, manner of speech is fine too. Features, huh? I try to think back to what I saw that day. Just by looking at him, he really did look just like an ordinary middle schooler. Maybe about 160 centimeters tall. And he had a slender build. As for features that stood out, the fucking bitch eyes. Oh. One thing stood out in particular. That boy had really beautiful white hair. That's right, he had shining silken white hair that would stand out even if he was in the middle of town. White hair and can control ice. The one who reacted to what I said was not Mr. Rindo, but Canis. Canis? I see. With that many features, I don't think it's going to be difficult to find him. I'll report to you if I find anything. Rindo, would you mind sharing the same report with me, if you can? Well, that's not a problem. But is something bothering you about this? Well, I just have a strange feeling. I would appreciate any information on it. Got it. I'll get to it then. Thanks, buddy. Enchanté. Ooh, now we're like in the middle. Ooh. Late at night before the next day. Well, I told them I'd try to investigate. But is it really necessary to ask me to get to work ASAP after giving my report? Complaining about the higher-up asking for the impossible, Rindo Kaoru holds a cup of instant coffee in a room that, aside from him, was vacant. He was working overtime. I like how they actually kept his name backwards. Like, they didn't fix that at all. They always fix it, like, when they're doing English, because they know we don't say names like that. So, like, they usually fix it, but this time they were just, like, not paying attention. Oh, man. Though I might not be her, maybe I should report this guy to the Labor Bureau, too. The coffee wasn't necessarily bad. Oh, I guess now all of a sudden I do miss the taste of Enchanté, though. That's more him, but the rest of it was like, was not him, you know what I mean? It's like, so that was weird. But I suppose that this does come with a nice price. It's free. I can't be too picky given the situation. So let's see. The features of this mysterious boy were... My fingers brushing against key after key, I enter in the information. So it's like weird. It's like, normally we say it like it's our perspective. We're narrating. But this was like an outside narrator then turns into Rindo narrating, which is weird. I'm accessing the database of confirmed non-humans in the human world. So essentially, an encyclopedia of people to watch out for. I don't feel great that I have to use this, though. Height, age, color of hair, then... filter by abilities and related report dates, and there we go. And right after I press the enter key... Beep beep! Oh, perfect match. I thought he'd be an unconfirmed non-human, but he's registered right here. His name is... Karia? Abe? Abe, wait. Karia? Karia? Karia. Karia. Anyway, age 14, his second year in middle school. His body's weak, so he misses school a lot. Huh. Let's see. So the reason why he's in here is... Rindo's face went stern at the text displayed on his computer. A changeling. Changelings. A well-known part of folklore passed down from olden Europe. A phenomenon where a human child that was just born would be taken away by a fairy on a whim and exchanged with a baby fairy. So that's how the human world has come to recognize them. In that case, he might be related to Medea, this Karia Abe kid. Could this be related to why Canis was curious about him too? Wallen thought I sipped my instant coffee. Oh, who's that over there? Our intelligence chief and the watcher of Enchante were non-humans mingle. Oh my god. Is this our little genius? Oh my god, the sleeves are so long on that coat. I'm not sure there's... Or is the kid talking to themselves? Why, it's Cowroot Window, the one with the outrageously enviable job. Not this guy was practically spelled out on his face. Oh. Not this guy was practically spelled out on his face. Rindo's poker face was usually very good, but it just fell apart here. It's really annoying how they flip going back and forth between perspective, like narrating. Who's narrating? It's just bizarre. This guy, here in this place, had a look that suggested he might have just broke out of jail, or maybe a foster home. But no. He was Rindo's old friend. Old friend! He's like 8. Like the chief of development. Akira Mikado? Akira Mikado, a colleague of Rindo and the head of GPM Development Division. Despite his childlike appearance, he's a highly talented scientist. But is he actually a child, or is it like, no, I'm actually 45, I just have like some kind of like weird, like I don't age. He was none other than the crazy genius. Oh my god, I love his hair. He's so cute. Hey, look at that! Working overtime, huh? Oh, or did you find some juicy news over at Enchante? Ugh, so envious, just so jealous. Here you are, given the promise that you can live this heavenly life, surrounded by rare non-humans. But, not only that, you actually went to Medea, a GPM first! Why did you keep that a secret from me, you brute? After receiving a barrage of words, a heavy fatigue... Okay, so now we're back to being Rindo. Jesus fucking Christ. Could you not switch back and forth in perspectives? Either narrate like you're narrating his life or narrate like you are him, because I can't handle this going back and forth. Like, this switching is irritating. It's like, that is not proper writing form. That's not how you do it. Like... And it's different, like, if you're reading a book, like, we are narrating, like, we're narrating our life. And then if you go, and you're switching, and you're not with us anymore, but you're with Rindo, and then there is a third-party narrator coming in, that's fine. But not where, like, he's like, I was thinking this to myself, blah, blah, blah. Or unless you're speaking out loud and monologuing, fucking stick with one version of narration. I can't handle this. Drives me bonkers. It's just not proper writing form, and it drives me, like, I can't stand it. It's just, like, it takes you out of it. After receiving a barrage of words, a heavy fatigue fell over me. Whatever. Listen, Mikado, I know I'm the only one here, but you can't just yell like that here in the workplace. And I told you before, if I take you, I'll lose even more trust from those non-humans. A crazy lab guy like you takes blood samples when he says hello isn't a good look. And you do understand that, don't you? I can't help it if non-humans are just that interesting. More important than your trust is my highly treasured brain. In other words, my scientific curiosity is obviously of much higher value. The Fairy Queen Titania. I so desperately wanted to meet her, too. I'm sure she's such an amazing non-human who can't be described with words. Rindo praises his past self for not taking along this walking disaster of a freak who could barely keep his breathing in check. And also, because he knew that the reason this guy wanted to meet and research non-humans wasn't just because he was curious. Gosh, you're just so mean, Rindo. Isn't that right, Ku? Ku-chan. A fox-like stuffed toy that Akira Mikado always carries. It's not even real. It's a stuffed animal. I was like, he's just carrying around some weird animal. Okay, it's like a fox, but like, whatever. But I'm like, he's just carrying, like he just has a pet in the office. It's not even real. That's even weirder. Akira was tilting his head toward and talking to the stuffed animal on his shoulder. Rindo let out a sigh. Moments after, Rindo realized he was making a pretty nasty face. He decided to hold his tongue.
So, Rindo, what brings you here after hours? She just needed some of that crappy coffee.
Well, I was just looking something up.
Let me see.
Wait, hey, what are you doing? His body was small enough to slip by, and Akira swooped up the computer Rindo was using for his research.
Oh, a changeling, huh? What fantastical types they are. They're also called ancestral relapsers. Oh, this specimen's impressive, too.
In what way?
I mean, look, he's been alive for a while. Changelings' targets are usually, at most, 5 years. Oh, you didn't know this? Well, I guess even the intelligence chief doesn't know everything about non-humans.
Mikado flutters his coat as he boasts. His coat that's way too large for him.
They're not supposed to live in the human world at all. They're mistakenly born here and grow up in the wrong world. Yeah, if I were to make an example, it's like a human being born in an atmosphere that's just plain toxic to breathe in. Oh man, yeah, I can definitely say a specimen over 10 years is extremely rare. So, why are you looking him up? Can I catch him? Can I keep him as a subject?
Okay, ignoring Mikado and his comment that strayed him further away from humanity, Rindo thinks seriously for a moment. You just never know when it's going to switch back to his perspective. Why would a fairy who's not supposed to live so long in the human world come to Enchante? Coincidence is one thing, but if it wasn't, what was the motive? Did he realize Canis, a fairy, was there, or did his weakened body subconsciously gravitate toward any presence from Medea? It wasn't impossible. But if that's the case, then there isn't much time. With a serious face on, Rindo begins to move. The next GPM mission was unfolding. Save the boy! Save the cheerleader, save the world. The next day, with the Oh. Okay. So we're still Rindo. This is interesting. We have to switch back to we're in his perspective. But again, you never know with how this game narrates. With the information that I unfortunately had to go to Mikado for, I quickly dove into action. Protection of friendly non-humans. If the GPM truly believes that it's one of its purposes, then there's only one thing I could do. Under a rainy sky, pouring down like running tears.
The hell? Why do I have to come with you? They're your errands!
Sorry. I'll buy you some good cuts of meat later. It was a pretty sudden request. I guess I can't blame Ignis for complaining. Honestly, I would have rather spoken with Canis, as this is a Medea matter. It seemed he couldn't leave Medea due to some previous engagements.
Well, we're just guarding a kid, right? Might as well be a walk on the park.
I needed a fill-in for Canis, so here we are. Ignis was good enough, especially if I needed him as support for a fight. We continued walking in search for the boy. I already contacted Spacey and told her about who Karia Abe really was, and the danger he was facing. Karia, yeah. I'm sure we can save the details about changelings later once we regroup with Canis. Although, I hope he listens and comes willingly.
Where'd that kid go anyway? He wasn't at home, right?
At the very least, we know it's not that he doesn't get along. Wait, what? Oh, okay, never mind. It was just the birds started flying, and then I saw the shadow of one of them, and I was like, wait a minute, where the fuck are you? It's just his shadow from the light coming through the window on his cage. They both ended up back on their cage. Little bird seems to be getting derpy and keeps falling all over the place lately. Like, he got a little lost the other day and kept not ending back up at his cage when he flew around, so I just wanted to make sure. Plus, also, Neelix is an asshole. Keeps going into my kitchen, so just making sure they're not in naughty places. Sorry. Anyway, at the very least, we know it's not that he doesn't get along with his current family. He seems to be on good terms with them. But Karia himself seems to have a habit of wandering off alone, so he's usually just not home very often. So you're saying we have no clues? No. I'm the intelligence chief, aren't I? We went to his house just to be sure. Between witness reports and other sources, I'm thinking of a few spots where you might find him. With that, we arrive at a spot about 30 minutes away from Enchante. Well now, this is a pleasant little hiding spot. We arrived at the warehouse of an abandoned factory, and there were stains of rust all over it. Holes filled the walls and roof. They were useless against the rain that was falling now. It was a pretty wide building and didn't feel cramped in the slightest. But thinking about a young kid spending time out here all alone, I can't say it was making me feel great. Alright, I'll get inside and get to work. Holler if you need me. I'll stand watch out here for anyone coming this way. Thanks. Glad someone has some common sense. Well, just leave this to me for now. I slowly opened the rusty door. I deliberately made my footsteps heard. There was a small shadow of a figure standing in the back. I began to speak. Right, there was the boy gripping his chest. He seemed in pain and was breathing heavily. Hey, can we talk?
Who are you?
And don't worry, I'm a friend. You don't need to be afraid.
Oh, really? This is the creepy adult who's trying to sweet-talk me in an abandoned warehouse.
I mean, he usually just tries to sweet-talk me in a cafe, but whatever.
Seriously? Everything about you reeks of some sick old man.
The game really just kind of calls everything out, doesn't it? Because you're like, the weird age difference. The age difference is a little kind of creepy. Now he's like, you're a sick old man. Well, you know, game, you're not. There is a level of that. There's a little sprinkle of that. As much as I love Rindo, but I'm just saying, 42 and the girl you're gonna like end up dating is like 20, if that. It's a little fucking creepy. All the time. Well, you make a good point. I accepted what it looked like. Took a minute to stand there and just talk. Listen, it's complicated, but I just want to talk to you for a bit. That okay, Karia Abe?
How do you know my name?
Well, you came to that strange little shop yesterday. Enchante, right? I was just wondering if you could tell me why you stopped by there. If it's difficult to say, let me try. You were drawn to that cafe when you were falling ill for some weird reason. And when you were there, you felt a little bit better. Isn't that right?
How do you know how I was feeling?
A look of panic was colored clearly across the boy's face, still gazing right at it. It's obvious. The reason you're in pain and why you're so troubled about how you're different. I made sure I didn't sugarcoat it because he had to see the truth. Is because you aren't human. The temperature around us drops suddenly. I feel a cold air begin to envelop me. It's a good thing you brought Ignis, though, because, I mean, he's like a fire dog, right? Knew it. He does understand he has this ability. So what he really is... This might be a lot to take in, but I want you to listen to me. You're no ordinary human being, but a fairy who was supposed to be born in another world, and that's why you're able to control the ice. I really needed to calm him before he starts demonstrating his full power. It's okay, I'm your friend, along with the owner of that cafe. She's part of a special organization, and she knows a lot about those who have powers. People like you. Wow, he's given us so much more credit. Like, we're totally a G-man now. Woo! Or G-woman. Government woman. What? We don't actually, but okay, sure. You know what? I feel special. You just, like, gave me a badge, basically. Can I carry a gun now, too? You know what? It's probably better I don't. You don't have to worry. We've done a lot of research on fairies, so I'm sure we can... Research? Before I realized it, it was too late. The sound of that word, the boy began glaring as if I attacked him.
No!
However, his rejection was at a far greater level than I expected. Research? You mean you're gonna lock me up and experiment on me again? With people laughing all around me like I'm some kind of specimen? Some animal? Just with that, I put together what kind of past he had been through. So you're just the same! I can't trust a word you say to me! I know you've gone through a tragic experience. I can see that. And I can also understand why you don't trust me. But I can't give up on you. Even if you don't trust me, I'll always do everything I can to protect the people like you. Protect? Don't you mean to say capture? I meant what I said. I'm here to protect you. You need protection before you accidentally hurt anyone with that power. Yourself, most of all. And what if I refuse? I don't think he's coming peacefully. I figured it might come to this. Hey, I'm just here doing my job. What are you gonna do against me? Are you gonna use that power of yours? Yeah, it's the only thing that keeps me away from all sorts of bad people. Adults, they don't understand what they're doing until they get hurt. That may be true. Adults are probably worse at judging between good and bad than kids are. Yeah, whatever. You just leave me alone! The warehouse was filled with water from the pouring rain. I jumped right before my feet would be frozen in the small bodies of water. However... Damn! I wanted to talk to you since you'd die if I didn't. The reason why he's becoming so aggressive must be because he realizes that his life is draining away. Wait! Ugh, it's so cold. Should have worn something warmer. I tried to run as the ice froze the warehouse. Then... Oh shit! Small projects? Yeah. Projectiles of ice were flying toward me, but I managed to cut them down with a knife. Jesus Christ, he's like a fucking ninja. Oh, that's me. Sorry. Whatever. You're going all out, huh? A reckless kid is a scary one. But if a stranger came by talking about research and protection, I guess I'd expect a pretty intense response. So what do I do now? My mind was racing as I dodged his attacks. No, no, no! If I'm caught again, I'll have to go through all of that again. I was finally able to find a nice family. With his scream, the stacked wooden boxes crumbled, unable to handle the sudden change in temperature. The boy, probably losing his mind now, began screaming as if his life depended on it. Man, Rindo, torturing children. Changelings. This was not something born of the mischief of fairies. It was found in folklore. It was when fairy and human blood mixed, causing the chance for an ancestral relapse, giving fairy traits to a descendant. Karia Abe is one of those beings. Unfortunately for him, his powers came shortly after he was born, and he was proven to be a non-human by the closest to him. Even his biological parents. What happened next was a classic tragedy. Afraid of Karia, even though he was kin, they left him in solitude. He was completely neglected by his own parents. Aww. He's our little Elsa! It seemed like there were no decent people in his life. He searched for help, but was persecuted and deceived instead. He ended up being sold into the darkest pits of society. There, he could have died at any moment. And there... His grandmother realized what happened. She came to save him from his living hell. Shortly after, though, she passed away. His relatives, that couple I'd gone to before coming here, were the ones that adopted and took Karia in. I'm supposed to be reading this as Rindo, apparently, but whatever. Even though they knew of his powers, they showed no fear nor pity to him. It was an honest love. It was pure. I'm just going to keep reading it. That's why. To have that all taken away? I can't let that happen! Yes, even if he died. All of a sudden, it was hard to breathe. Damn. The tiny amounts of water in the air must have begun to freeze. And not only that, I could feel his gaze on me. He must have been staring to see when I'd stopped moving. I felt like the very blood in my body was beginning to freeze. I really didn't think he was this strong. I dropped to my knees, and right as I began to lose consciousness... You think Ignis would have come in before now, I'm just saying. God, that's so loud! What's with all the snapping and crackling? Told you to holler at me! Like a comet, the demon beast of fire comes crashing down with a roar. He was adorned with fire, and the flames melted the ice all around the warehouse. Karia's body flinches at the sudden rising temperature within the warehouse. Nice timing. Duh. Ice's natural enemy is fire. It's a fact even a child would know. Duh. I mean, what do you think I would say? As soon as I caught my breath, I ran to him. I catch Karia's frail body as it begins to fall forward. Well, that should do it. I don't think he was injured. Oh, but Ignis, your flames might be too much for the kid. And can you turn it down a bit? Yeah, got it. Actually, he's not looking good with or without the flames, don't you think? Yeah, you're definitely right. We don't have any time to waste. We don't really have time to get his consent about this right now. My fingers, shivering from the cold, began to dial a number. It was Kotone's. Hey, Kotone, we got a hold of the kid. Has Candace come back yet? You mean Spacey? Is that supposed to be me? That they didn't just change it? Because I think her original name was Kotone. So, it's supposed to be me that he's talking to. Wow, game, you fucked that up. Just quite a bit, huh? That's actually probably not even in the translation. That's probably in the original. You know what I mean? Because if you can change your name, the game would have to be coded to say anytime that her name is there and say, insert name, not the original name. But anyway. All right, good. And can you give a message to Canis? And tell him to be ready to open the gate to Medea. Now we're back to me. Okay, cool. Oh, not a fairy. And, oh my god. Wow, they are really bad with this now. Like, they just messed up my name twice, and now Venia is now Veneer. So, like, fix your shit. Like, but they called him that once before, or they called them that once before. I don't know, anyway. Your Majesty, there's no mistake about it.
I see.
It must have been about an hour since that child was brought to Enchante. Mr. Rindo and I were led by Canis. Miser brought the boy soon after into the fairy world Medea. Because Ignis's flames were bad for the boy's body, he stayed on Enchante with ill. Normally, I wouldn't have found a reason to come here. But after seeing his painful expression, I couldn't just sit and wait at the cafe. That's why he looked like Venia, because they have the same fairy bitch face. Like, they really do. See? Because he was a fairy the whole time. They must be related.
It's been a while, Spacey. And you too, Rindo. And though I didn't imagine it to be under these circumstances, I'm glad we can meet again. Isn't that right?
Are we going to call him Veneer now? Instead of Venia? Pick one, because I can't. Oh no, and not in the least, slightest, tiniest bit. In fact, this is just a dreadful mess you've dragged us into. Who wanted this? I hope you get cursed. I love them so much. I do. Well, this place hasn't changed. This particular fairy's ruthlessness. With a chillingly painful expression, Veneer, I guess that's what we're calling them now, glares at us with narrowed eyes. How's Karia doing?
By coming to Medea, it seems he's currently stabilizing. And though I don't know what might happen if he returns to the human world for long.
So, this is a changeling.
Changeling, also known as a replaced child. In European legend, this refers to events where human and fairy infants are swapped. But in this game, it refers to ancestor reversion, where a human inheriting fairy blood regains such characteristics. So, like, maybe both of his parents were humans, but one of his parents at some point had fairy blood in them, and then now it's like a recessive trait.
I've read a bit about them in the books that Grandpa left behind. A concept rooted in changing one's ancestry. Mr. Rindo and Canis explained the concept to me, but it didn't register. I mean, ancestor reversion, when genetic traits from distant ancestors manifest in a descendant, causing them to take on similar forms and abilities. Or, like when everyone in your family's blonde, but somehow somebody else in your family's got flaming neon fucking red hair, and you're like, what the hell, Ginger? How'd you get hair? Because your great-great-great-great-great-grandma had ginger hair. Just saying. Like, He looks just like an ordinary boy. And he's had such a terrible past. It's what we can expect from your kind. The human species is very exclusive. They're evil to those they can't understand. Are you looking in the mirror? She's like, are you the pot or the kettle today? Because...
Hey, that's enough in here. The child is more important now. If he cannot live in the human world, we must take him into his proper homeworld, here in the fairy world, Medea.
Though, will he agree? I know he's unusual, but for someone who believes themselves to be human...
That's impossible.
I turned around and Karia was sitting up from the pedestal, a pained look on his face.
What the hell was all that just now? Fairies and alternate worlds? Are you all dumb or something?
You can turn shit to ice! Yeah, well duh! Smacks him. Don't be stupid.
And you're all wearing costumes? You're all just a band of idiots, aren't you?
I assume he heard everything we were just talking about. I'd be like, you can change things to ice. Canis, take off your helmet. Canis, take off your helmet. Ah, God, it's my head! Yeah, right. With suspicious eyes, he glares toward Titania and the others. This is all quite sudden. I know it's difficult to believe, but all the evidence is here.
Indeed, the strongest of which is how your body is stabilized after coming to this world. Canis's hunch led to our investigation, and it seems that you truly are an ice fairy. One with much strength in particular.
No, that's just... a fairy tale?
And yet your disbelief didn't stop you from letting this old guy have it.
And denying it's a little childish now, don't you think? Right, this is a fairly harsh way to put it, but let me tell it to you straight, young man. If you stay outside of the fairy world for long, you will die.
Nothing would pain me more than to see a young fairy end their life so sadly. So please, young man, we won't force you, but it would be best to live here in the fairy world. It's for your own safety.
It's so sad because you can't even go back and forth. It's just like, I can never go home again and I'm stuck here, and this place is so fucking weird from where you're from. Karia could do nothing but remain silent. His expression looked pained. Aww. Unable to watch anymore, I spoke up. Well, I don't think we should push him to make a decision right away. This is a lot for him to take in at once, and given his particular situation, we have to give him some time to think. Mr. Rindo agrees with me by giving a single but affirming nod. Yeah, we've got to think of the parents, too. His body is stable now that he's been able to breathe in some of Medea's air. Let's see how he does. We can wait a little, right, Karia? Karia? Would you like to have some iced coffee? No. We returned to Enchante, and although we introduced ourselves again at a deeper level, his desire to speak shriveled into nothing. After seeing the other non-human customers, he finally acknowledged the other worlds. That's where he seemed to be at. Although, I'm not sure he's been able to accept the fact that he's also one of them. Give your parents the address to this place so they can put it in the map app, find it, and then we can talk to them, and then they can come here and visit you, and you can just, go through the door all the time. I mean, at least they'll know where you are. Mr. Rindo, the one who brought him in, turns to face him. So, Karia, what do you plan to do? Staying here and being cared for at Enchante is a possibility. After a sigh, if you want some more information about who you really are, want to visit GPM headquarters with me? He gently proposes an idea. That's a bad idea! Akira's gonna kidnap him and use him for research, and then you're gonna look like an asshole. Maybe not. The GPM? Karia had already been given a rough idea of what the GPM was. Why take him to the GPM, Mr. Rindo? The existence of alternate worlds, fairies and humans, he still doesn't have enough information to make a well-informed plan. Though it's possible to go to all of these wonderful worlds and see them firsthand. He's been raised in modern Japan. I feel like it'd be easier to understand with evidence-based proof and data. We walked through a magical fucking door and ended up in a fairyland. Is that not enough for you? You have to see it on a computer screen? Because I'm just fucking saying. After Mr. Rindo gave his reasoning, he then speaks to Karia. At the GPM, there are quite a few cases like yours. It could help you out. What do you think? Without arguing, Karia nods. Oh, kid, he's just resigned himself to being a science experiment. Mr. Rindo then looks towards me. For now, you can leave the boy to me. Don't worry, I'll look after him. Alright, I'll let Miser and the others know. And that's how Rindo got a son. It's okay, I got like 6 kids. 5 baby mamas, whatever, it's fine, I can do another one. The next morning, it was about noon when all the regular members, except Mr. Rindo, had gathered together.
I see. So that's what happened. And that explains how he slipped by the barrier. It was made to be effective against humans.
So, Karia is his name, right? What did he say he'll do? I don't know. I'm sure he's in shock from having all these truths shoved at him all at once. I haven't gotten a call back from Mr. Rindo yet either. After I gave my explanation, the one who gave me the difficult truth, with their shoulders slumped while doing so, was Canis. It is unfortunate, but that boy does not have time to wait and make a decision. Who knows how long the GPM might keep him? He could be in danger if he isn't careful. No, he's still just in middle school. But it was true. He was clearly in pain as he walked away from Enchante as he left. Considering that, there aren't many options for him to consider.
So, ultimately, he has no choice but to go to Medea. I don't know why we're still deliberating.
If it were that easy, the kid wouldn't be that hesitant.
Right, and the decision would force him to throw away his life and start all over. So then, to him, perhaps it isn't any different from dying. It sounds like his parents now are really good people, too. Certainly he wouldn't want to separate from them. After Miser explains himself, sipping a cold coffee, Il nods, understanding the situation. But in the end, maybe this isn't something we should be butting into. As I muttered my thought, the sound of my ringtone resonated through the cafe. I took my phone out of my pocket. Yes, hello? This is Owaki.
Spacey, it's Rindo. Got a minute?
Mr. Rindo, is something the matter?
Yeah, it's about Karia. Thought I'd let you know. I contacted his parents. We decided to stay one more day at the GPM to examine him further. Hearing his voice over the phone, everyone got up from their seats and gathered around, wondering if something had happened. Oh, wait, Mr. Rindo. Everyone's here right now. Let me put you on speakerphone. This is literally my harem. It's my cafe harem. You're like, hold on, honey. Everyone else is here. Everybody wants to hear. 5 minutes later. So, he didn't accept it then? Well, we did show him all the evidence and data we have. It's not so much as he doesn't believe it. It's just, he's refusing to. He seems like he's going into a manic state. So there's something I'd like to ask, Spacey. Could you come to the GPM headquarters and have a chat with him? Everyone else was also surprised at the unexpected proposal. Huh? Me? Right. I thought a lot about it. A normal person who interacts with and accepts non-humans is what we need. Since you're the perfect example of this, I was hoping you might be able to talk him through this. Of course I won't force you, but what do you think? Are you sure? Are you sure I can do it? And don't put too much pressure on yourself. And talk about everyday life at Enchante. That's about as deep as it needs to be. Exactly. Thinking about how you met us would leave some impact, don't you think? Or talking about how you met us would leave some impact, don't you think? I just hope the impact I described doesn't make him feel doubtful. But I understand. If that's the case, I'll send you the address. Come by. Bring Canis and whoever else you think you should come, alright? Oh my god, this is just how Rindo traps us all in cages! I'm just kidding. But you never know. Got it. By the way, how far is the headquarters from here? If it's in some faraway or secluded area, getting there today might be difficult. It's actually pretty close. It's in Shinjuku. Oh, that really is close. And right in the middle of the city. Wasn't the GPM supposed to be an organization secret from most regular people? It's in a Don Quixote. Hawken, are you sure? This doesn't seem right. It's in the Bed Bath and Way Beyond. It's in the back. The Government Paranormalism Measures, or GPM, where Mr. Rindo is employed. I've heard much about this organization so far, including how it's an organization with a lot of history, dating back to the Heian period. Before the war, its goal was to eliminate non-humans, but now it's a peaceful entity. There's a branch in each prefecture of Japan, and they all report to the Shinjuku branch. But I didn't realize they were this big of an organization. Wow, this is a pretty big building. A classic technique. It's right under everyone's noses. So, I know this is late to mention, but do you think Enchante will be alright with ill in charge while we're gone? We didn't have a choice. That guy can't read a room. He'd end up telling the kid to go with his gut, which is what we don't need. Well, yes, that is true, but he said he was playing a new Otome game. I don't think there's any real problem. Miser's like, fuck. The place is going to burn down around him. We weren't getting anywhere by talking like this, so I mustered up my courage and stepped into the large building. Welcome to the GPM headquarters, patrons of Enchante. Well, you guys are rolling deep. Oh, I guess you're still on your toes from the attack way back when, huh? Oh no, that's not it. Candace is a fairy like Karia, and Miser is advice, considering how long he's lived. So Ignis is here as insurance in case something happens to go south? Well, no matter. You're all welcome to be here. So before we get to the matter at hand, I'll give you a layout of the building. Ahem. This building, the GPM headquarters where Mr. Rindo is stationed, is a skyscraper with 27 floors above ground and 3 below. That's where we're going to end up trapped. The floors are separated by department like General Affairs, Intelligence, R&D, etc. And the lower floors house convenience stores, cafes, and restaurants. Told you. It's in a Don Quixote. We walked through the building, guided by Mr. Rindo as he talked about it to us. On several occasions, we passed by staffers, walking by us and talking while they held cups of coffee in their hands. Huh. The more I see, the more this just feels like a trendy office. We are the government, after all. We care about the well-being of our workers, especially if there's danger involved. He's right. I could hardly handle the environment at my last job and ended up quitting because of it. Is this everyone's first time at the GPM? Yeah, it's different from what I imagined. Thought it'd be a bit more shady, more creepy. Well, if you go to any of the R&D department areas, it'll be as dubious as you'd expect. Robots, magic circles, even divinators. Divinators. Why can my brain not read that? That said, we're not out there trying to fight and capture non-humans every day. Solving things peacefully is always preferable. Way less work, too. I bet. I think looking at everything here is changing my perception of the GPM. I've heard a lot about the GPM by now, and I haven't been intimidated by anyone from the GPM besides you, Mr. Rindo. Well, that's because your first encounter with them is a bunch of psychopaths who tried to fucking kill you, I mean. Well, I'm glad to hear it. It means calling you all here was worth it. A short while later, word traveled that Miser and other non-humans were here, and people started to notice us. You really, the people you walk by with coffee clearly, didn't see it, oh, here we are. Mr. Rindo stops in front of a single room and turns toward us. So, Karia isn't here? Yeah, he was pretty down, too. We had an examiner come look at him, and he's taking a short rest right now. Okay, then, I'm gonna open the door. Are you ready, Spacey? Yes? I don't know what sort of decision Karia will make in the end. But the time I spent with the customers from alternate worlds certainly wasn't a waste. With the normal and abnormal getting together, forming friendships, I know I'd be able to show him that it's possible after sharing my experiences. With that thought, I nodded. Oh, is it Crazy Pants?
You're late! You're so late, Rindo! A second of a genius's time is worth more than gold. Don't you know that expression? Well, never mind. It's one I just made up.
A voice rang suddenly from the other side of the door. Ugh, that voice. It wasn't Karia's, was it? Who is that?
How am I to not know who I am? How ignorant and pitiful you are! In that case, allow me to inform you.
With a booming voice, the door flew open. And out came a very strange-looking person. I just assumed. Yeah, okay. I assumed it was Akira. He wore a white coat that seemed a few sizes too big, the fabric even flapping behind him.
My name will be etched in history! Remember to burn it into your brain cells!
He held a doll that looked like a fox.
I'm the leading researcher on non-humans, the brains of the GPM and the chief of research and development.
This kid is fucked in the head. I love him. And what stood out most, he was tiny, a full head shorter than me.
I am the genius scientist Akira Mikado.
With all his bravado, I couldn't see who was before us as more than a kid with a doll. Rindo, what is wrong with the security here? It seems a child's wandered inside. Well, I understand exactly what you all are feeling right now. But unfortunately, most of what this person is saying is true. And though we might not look it, Mikado here is actually an adult. Huh? He knew I didn't believe it from the way I looked at him. He shrugged his shoulders at us.
It's the mark of a fool to judge someone based on their appearance. Only an average person would do that. It's what's inside a person's brain that holds true value. Isn't that right, Koo?
After he bends his head down to talk to his doll, he turns to us. Or rather, to Miser.
Now then, I know all about you folks. Rindo's given a lot of reports after all. The Demon Lord and the Headless Knight. Oh, your fallen angel doesn't appear to be with you today. Unfortunate. However, the both of you are tremendously interesting non-humans. Oh, please do tell me more about yourselves.
It would appear that he has completely glossed over Ignis just now. Come to think of it, Ignis had been oddly quiet the past few moments. He's like fucking hiding, cowering. We're like, Ignis is behind Mr. Rindo hiding. As I turned around with that on my mind, I saw him there with a disgruntled look on his face, as if he swallowed something nasty. Ignis, do you know this person?
Yeah, the GPM comes to Beastia sometimes to conduct research. I happened to come across him on one such occasion. Right, we encountered each other, and I became friends with this valuable specimen, strongest of the demon beasts. I'm not sure a real friend would constantly ask for blood samples every time they came to see you.
Miser couldn't help but smile awkwardly at Mikado's excitement.
Well, how about we move things along? Our friend here has something serious to do behind that door.
As we were trying to deal with the situation, someone's saying, Akira Mikado.
How long are you going to keep trying to buy more time? I'm requesting that you provide proper timelines for things.
The new figure that appeared from the door grabbed Mikado's head with great force. Judging by his voice and height, he was a young man around Ignis's age, I think. But his appearance, with his face and entire body covered in a hood and cloth, surprised me a bit. Huh. Oh. And this is the new hire, I think?
Right. You're my aide. That's right. Fancy meeting you here, huh?
Contradictory information. You're the one who told me to wait here at Akira Mikado.
Huh? Oh man, another new face? Give me a break already.
Yeah, but this guy doesn't have a face.
Don't worry. I'm no one important here. My job is to be this thing's aide. And unlike this thing, I don't intend to use time recklessly.
The man ruthlessly calling Mikado a thing began to hand Mr. Rindo paper after paper.
I've collected all the information regarding Karia Abe. All you need to do is talk to him.
As soon as he finished his work, the man immediately walked away. He's literally just something in a sheet. It's like they were like, too many characters, no, I don't feel like drawing, and they just threw a sheet over him. I'm just saying it's a little fucking weird. He's very pragmatic, isn't he? Huh. He really is a skillful aide. He's able to control you from your rampages. You picked up some good help, Mikado.
Mikado's assistant, a young man who works as the assistant to GPM Development Division Head Mikado. He acts very indifferently, but shows excellent skills as an assistant.
Huh? Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Except he doesn't work very well with others. Mr. Mikado quietly mumbles, oh, so he doesn't work well with others. I see. Maybe that's the reason why he hides his face. At a glance, he was scary and looked suspicious. But Mr. Rindo talked to him normally. If he's employed as part of an agency like the GPM, I'm sure he must be decent. Everyone here's fucking weird. Rindo is the most normal one. Alright then. So how about we take a look at these and get back to work, huh?
Ha! Yeah, I guess. Before we go in, I'll explain what you should know at the very least.
Taking a few of the sheets from Mr. Rindo, Mikado began talking, kind of awkwardly. I know we're over time, but there's no good place to stop here.
With his permission, we performed various examinations on him. And sure enough, there were plenty of differences we found between him and a normal boy of his age. And the most striking was his body temperature. Far too low at 30 degrees Celsius, like someone experiencing hypothermia.
30 degrees? Can't imagine being so cold. The lowest mine ever went was 35.
Aside from that, however, the results of his psychological examination show that he's definitely just a normal human being.
So his body is that of a non-human, and his mind of a human. That's why this is difficult to deal with as the GPM. He's only a victim of ancestral relapse. It's no mistake he's had human parents, so it doesn't feel right to call him a non-human. Leaving that comment with us, Mr. Rindo stands at the door where Karia waited. And that's enough for the briefing. Now, how about we go and talk to him? All right. Nodding and readying myself yet again, I wait behind Mr. Rindo. However...
Wait a moment! Before you go in there, I need to talk to you about something.
For some reason, Mikado placed his hand on Mr. Rindo's arm, stopping him. Mikado?
What lies beyond this door is a situation that's more than what you can imagine.
This is like, imagine if you will, what lies behind this door. It's like fucking beginning of a Twilight Zone episode.
So, before you enter, I need you to promise me a few things.
You're pretty serious about this, huh? So what are those promises? Looking over all of us in a bated breath, Mikado slowly puts together his thoughts.
First, don't panic. No matter what you see, whatever you do, remain calm.
Okay. What did you do to him?
Hold back your emotions as much as possible. Losing your composure might cause mistakes.
Right.
And, most importantly, don't get mad, especially at me. Don't get mad at me.
Huh?
All right, so about this young boy, Karia Abe. While I wasn't looking, he ran away.
Wait a minute. That aide earlier mentioned something about buying more time.
Ah!
Okay, that's the perfect place to stop it. Rindo just punched the kid. And he's not a kid. He's an adult. Are you sure about that? Like, how old are we talking? Like, he just turned 18? Because, like, the fuck? Oh, my God. Anyway, this is a good place to end it. So, I'm going to wrap it up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.